Hey everybody, it's your man Tyke coming to you with another true spook story. Now before we begin, let me ask that you hit that like button. Go and subscribe to the channel and share me if you're feeling the content. Go ahead and share me now. It's a small click for you, but it means a hell of a lot to me. So now, this story is gonna take place in the Orlando area, but mainly it's gonna take place off of Bruton Boulevard and I'm going to say LB McLeod and Bruton Boulevard. So before I tell you about the story, I want to tell you where these people in these stories be hanging out at, because it's very important. So if you go to the corner of Bruton Boulevard and LB McLeod Road, you'll see a 7-Eleven right there. 7-Eleven, and you go a little bit up, you'll see McDonald's, etc., etc. But we're going to focus on the 7-Eleven. There's one street behind 7-Eleven at the corner of Bruton Boulevard and LB McLeod Road that the people that work for Waste Management, a bunch of old heads, they work for Waste Management. They be right back there. I want to say it's like next to Jet Road or something like that. I forget. So I ain't driving back there right now to go take a look while I'm doing this. I'm just going off memory, but I gave you the accurate location. So this story is gonna revolve around at least four of the old guys there, but mainly the character of Coleman. Now Coleman was a good friend of my mom's and my dad back when they was dating. They used to hang out together. Coleman had a motorcycle he rode. He had cowboy boots, cowboy hat, and he rode a steel hog, and he was as black as the ace of spade, but he was as country as a white man cowboy can be. I mean, we love Coleman. I remember one time seeing Coleman. Coleman came over there and cooked us some crabs. He got some blue crabs from the crab store off of Go Street, Gore Street. Look at me in my country ad. He had got a couple bushels of crabs right off Gore Street back when it was a crab store, seafood store over there. And he came to the house on Dollins where we live, Sunset and Dollins. I was about 8. That man cooked boiled all those crabs, seasoned them up, and when he cracked the shell, he ate everything in the shell. And I was like, okay, this shit ain't supposed to be. This motherfucker eating the yellow shit inside the crab. He eating the little fuzzy little lungs and shit in the crab, and he just, that's like mustard. And I'm like, something ain't right with this shit here. And my mom and dad laughed at him, but he ate so many of them motherfuckers, and everybody was rinsing them and cleaning them. But that was Coleman. He just was a rebel. That's sorry about that. I had to go down memory lane. That was a little quick memory of my man Coleman. God rest his soul. All right, so now this story is gonna basically take place with Coleman and about 3 or 4 other dudes that hang out back there after they get off work. So right behind the 7-Eleven on Bruton Boulevard and LB McLeod Road is a 7-Eleven. There's a street behind there, and all the waste management workers, they go there every day when they get off work, and they hang back there and they drink and they smoke and they talk shit and they sit back there 2-3 hours until about 6 o'clock, 6:30 before they gotta go home to their girlfriend, wives, or whatever. So Coleman, he had a thing for the younger girls. Now he didn't just get these old thin ass young girls. He understood, man like meat, dog like bone. So he would get the young girls that were thick, sort of like the chick in this picture. I don't know that girl in that picture, by the way. That's why I blocked out her shit. So, but she threw it on the internet, baby. Let's ride with it. Well, he would get the thick girl, sort of like this one up here. Like she wasn't super bad, but you wouldn't kick out the bed. I like every girl. So all y'all people that, the barren body shape. No, I mean tight body shape. No, no, no. I looked at the internet for a picture, and that's the motherfucker that looked just like the one Coleman was trimming. So I digress. So Coleman understood that, he liked young girls, but he liked them thick, so he was a paymaster. He would break bread with them and all that stuff there. So it wasn't like he was taking advantage of these chicks. And so everybody knew. So now, Coleman used to invite these chicks over to his house. Mainly one. He had a couple in the rotation, but he mainly had just one, which is this one right here. Now, from all intents and purpose, everybody called this girl Never. Never. That was her name. That's what everybody knew her as. Everybody on the script that hung out with Coleman knew her as Never. Never, never, never. Coleman said that's her personal name. He used to always refer to her as Never. Y'all remember what I'm saying? This name thing is serious. He used to always recall that girl Never. So he was like, hey, Never, Never, come here. Never, come here. So Never would see him and she would walk up there to him. Now keep in mind, I'm not in the picture at this time with Coleman and Never now. I'm just like chilling because I don't know what's going on. So from accurate account from my dad, my grandmama, and my mama, he used to always be like, hey, Never, come here. So he would always call Never. They would talk a little bit. He would put on the back of his motorcycle and they'll drive off. She'll park her car at the 7-Eleven and walk up the road, walk one block up the road where everybody was. And he know when he seen her, you know, he'll put on the motorcycle, drive to his house, knock her down, bring her back later that night to get her car and shit like that. So they said Coleman had been messing with this girl Never for a long time. A long time, like at least 4-5 years. That was his main little side piece, his main little trick money, however you want to call it. Hit buddy, I don't know. So, but Coleman used to always call her Never. He used to say Never, Never, Never. And he used to be like, and when she would come out, he was like, oh, I'd never. He keep in mind what I'm saying. He said, I'd never. And we would all laugh and shit, because I never seen the girl for a long time. Now, when Coleman started dealing with this chick, she had to be like 20, 21. She was fresh off the boat, just jumped off her mama porch. However, but she had a legit little baby and all that shit, and she understood that, you know, if you ain't got no job and you ain't willing to work and you in the projects, however, you know, you fucking with the old head, you gonna have to give up some of that ass in order, you know, to get some money. And she understood the rules to the game, so it wasn't, again, it was no give and take. I'm talking like a real nigga, because this is the where I grew up in. This is my lifestyle, so I seen it. So Coleman was knocking her down, and while Coleman knocking her down, you know, he breaking her off. So they started fucking around when she was like 19, 20. And I was like, damn. So my dad would tell him like, oh man, you gotta watch out for Coleman, because Coleman like him young. And they used to make them jokes. And I ain't never know what they were talking about. Now, I never saw this lady Never and all that stuff though. So Coleman like, man, shut up. You go ahead and get you a piece too. You got one out there. Wait till you get to be an old man. You ain't got time to to sit up there and worry about romance. You get you a little one, you ride hard, and you let them go. Give them about a little $40, $50, $60. Pay a car note or rent. You say it's cheaper to do it like that versus getting an old lady. Coleman had the game down pack in his mind. So one day, and this is where I'm coming in at right now. So Dad and Coleman worked at the same waste management plant in Orlando. Dad and Coleman worked at the same waste management, but then my dad transferred to the city of Orlando, and then that's where he retired at, waste management. But they worked at the same waste management plant. So Coleman, car broke down, motorcycle broke down. So Dad was like, hey, boy, come pick us up, take us to work, pick us up from work. I say, all right, no problem, Dad. So, you know, I'm getting up 4:30, 4 in the morning, going over there to pick up Dad and shit. And when I go pick up Dad, he say, okay, drive around here to Richmond Heights and pick up Coleman. I said, all right. So I drive around there, pick up Coleman. So I take him to work. I be there at 3:30 when they get off work. I drop him off around on the street. Dad never stayed under the tree with him and drank and chilled. Dad like, hey, take me to my house. And, you know, Dad had his other friends that he hung out and drunk with under a different tree. The old man in Florida, baby, that tree is a motherfucker. It's a Caribbean thing, too. So one day, Coleman called Dad and tell Dad, hey, could you send Tyke over here to get me, man? I'm a little drunk. And so Dad called me. Dad say, hey, go pick up Coleman, take him to the house. I'll give you gas money. I say, Dad, it's okay. I got you. I say, I'm over in the area anyway. Coleman don't live nothing but 10 minutes up the road from where he be drinking and partying at. So I say, okay, cool. So I go over there to Broome Boulevard. So I go to the 7-Eleven. When I go to the 7-Eleven, I see the girl Never walking out the store. And I don't know how I knew her name, because I've never seen her before. I just knew to call this girl Neville. And y'all remember this. It's a name thing. So when I walked out, I say, hey, Neville, how you doing? And she like looked at me and she was like, how you know me? And I'm like, oh, I say, your name Neville for real? And she like, yeah, how you know me? I said, you just look like a Neville. And keep in mind, you look like a Neville. And she like, who you is? Who you is? I say nothing, I'm just speaking. Keep in mind, I didn't know this girl. I just knew instantly to call her Neville. So I went on into the store and stuff like this. So I drove around the corner, I picked up Coleman, I took him to the house. He thanked me, he shot me $10, boom, I'm done. So I go on about my business. So about 2 weeks passed. Coleman car still ain't working. I'm still picking him and dad up, taking him to work. Same old thing. Picking him up around about 6 o'clock, going to the gas station, getting gas. So one day I had grandma in the car with me. And this is where the shit finna get spooky, good people. I had grandma in the car with me. I said, Grandma, I gotta go pick up Coleman for dad. And grandma say, your dad is still hanging out with that no good witch nigga? Say, that nigga hands dirty, he got a dirty dick, he just a dirty bitch all around. I said, Grandma, that's Mr. Coleman. He ain't what he did to you. So now I'm laughing. I'm like, okay, Coleman done knocked down Grandma or something, because Grandma got a disdain for this cat, right? So she like, you know what that bitch do? He been fucking them young girls for years. I say, Grandma, what you talking about? Say, how old you think Coleman is? I say, the man gotta be probably 50, Grandma. I say, you old head. She say, that bitch in his late 70s. Grandma, that bitch in his late 70s. I say, he older than you? Yeah, he older than me. I said, Grandma, you got to be playing. That man don't look a day over 54. That's what I'm trying to tell you, boy, with your silly ass. You need to see with your spirit eyes. I say, that man in his late 70s. I said, Grandma, you making this up? She said, why the hell would I fucking do that? I'm telling you, I knew him. I was young when he was goddamn old. And Grandma said, okay. I said, all right, Grandma, I believe. So I said, Grandma, can I, pull in the store? I said, you ain't gonna trip on Coleman. I'm doing this for my daddy now. I said, Grandma, don't trip. You say, chillin'. She like, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'll be cordial with the bitch, but he better not touch me with them nasty ass hands and nasty ass ideas of his. I said, I'm pretty sure he won't, Grandma. So Grandma said, come in here, buy me some tobacco, boy. I said, yes, ma'am. I was the dude, boy. Don't I know? So me and Grandma walk in the store. So again, the girl walk out. And we haven't picked up Coleman yet. I said, what's up, Neville? And she said, why you keep calling my name? How you know that's what they call me? She said, do you know me? Do you know my daddy? Do you know my uncle? And I never told her I knew Coleman. Because Coleman never spoke to me about this girl. It just was instinct. So when I said that, and Grandma like, ugh, that bitch got stank on her. I say, Grandma, she smelled like vanilla or Victoria's Secret or some shit. I say, she wasn't stank. I say, maybe you don't like vanilla. She like, I ain't talking about that type of stank. That bitch got some kind of old dirty magic on her. I say, that girl like 22 years old. Have y'all caught on to the pattern yet? Coleman wasn't getting old. Neither was this girl getting old. Y'all follow me here. I'm just breaking it down. So Grandma said, she got some kind of stank magic on her. Ugh. So I say, well, I'm going over here, and Grandma bought tobacco and shit, and the lady, the girl never still trying to figure out who the fuck I am, how I know her, all that shit, and I never let on to it. So we go around there and get Coleman, and Grandma smell him, and Grandma say, ooh, you got a stank on you. And I said, Grandma. And he like, what up, Agunju? He say, how you doing? How your daughter? How did? And she say, don't talk to me, just ride in the car. You'll be out of here. And Grandma was real stern. She didn't fuck with him. So he like, y'all, you old crazy old lady. So we get there, and I drop him off. And Grandma say, you know who that bitch smell like? I say, who, Grandma? He say, you smell like that bitch you was talking to walking in the store. I say, the Neville girl? I said, Grandma, and she said, how you know that hoe? I said, Grandma, I don't know that girl. I say, I don't know who she is. I just walked past her like a couple months ago and called her Neville, and she said that was her name. I just was just calling her something. She said, how you knew the bitch called to call her that? I said, Grandma, probably psychic link. I said, I don't know. I just was talking. You know, I greet everybody. Grandma say, stay away from that bitch, cause she got a magic on her and she smell like Coleman's funky ass. I said, yes, ma'am. You ain't got to worry about that. You know, at the time, you know, I had a rotation, so that there wasn't nothing what I would fuck with back in the day. So, you know, I was like, cool. So time go on, time pass. So not 2 years, Coleman got his car right, everybody got their shit right. So it been 2 years. So Dad called me one time and Dad said, hey, I'm under the tree in the back of the waste management with Coleman and them. How about you come pick me up, man? I said, Dad, where your truck, man? He like, oh, the truck at the house. See, I rode to work with Coleman. He picked me up. I said, all right, I'm on my way. So when I get over there, I say, Dad, let me stop in the store, get some gas, and I want to get me a Mountain Dew. He like, all right, get me a root beer. I say, yes, sir. So again, as I'm going in the store, I see the girl Neville. And now Neville is not getting old. It's been 4 or 5 years. This girl ain't aging, ain't changing, hair ain't getting longer. She look the same, just like the bitch in this picture, man. I'm telling you what I know. So I said, let me ask you a question. She said, what? I said, you know an old head named Coleman? And she was like, Mr. Coleman, I love Mr. Coleman. That's my baby. I say, so you know Coleman? She like, yeah. I say, okay. I say, my dad and Coleman friends. I say, that's probably how I know y'all probably seen you with them. Keep in mind, I never saw these people together. I'm just trying to, you know, put her at ease. Because every time I would go over there, it like we kept bumping into each other. So she thought, oh yeah, Coleman, he all right. Yeah, we good friends. He helped me out. That my boo thing, my baby. She, you know, she never alluded that they were screwing. She just like they were cool. So I said, Grandma was right. So I go around there and I go to Dad. I say, hey Dad. I say, you know Coleman messing with this chick that I just seen named Neville. He say, oh, he been messing with Neville for like 6 years. I say, how old that girl, Dad? He say, she about 25 now. He say, he been messing with her when she was like 19, 20. I say, oh my God. I said, she still look about 21, 20. He said, yeah. And my dad say, well, Coleman an old man too. Coleman older than me. I say, come on, Dad. He like, yeah, that man like 15, 20 years older than me. I say, come on, Dad. And he like, I'm serious. So we laughing and talking. I say, well, maybe he draining a little young bitch. And so me and Dad laughing, and I'm like, he still be fucking. I say, his shit still work. We just making jokes on the way home. Cool. So I go to Grandma and I say, Grandma, Dad confirmed that what you was saying was true. And Dad said the girl we saw, she was screwing Mr. Coleman. So what we gonna do about this? And she said, what the fuck you mean what we gonna do? I said that he probably taking that young girl essence, that young girl energy. And Grandma say, we ain't doing nothing. That bitch getting paid. I know she is. Coleman always gonna pay for what his pussy now. He gonna pay for what he want. Whether it's right or wrong, fucking these young girls. I say, so why is he staying so fucking young looking and shit? He said, is the bitch getting old? I said, no, she look young too. He say, then the grandma say, well then that's a different type of motherfucking magic. I say, explain, lady. I say, I ain't gonna give you this back if you don't explain. She say, boy, get my spit cup. Sit your ass down. So I go get the spit cup, put some tissue in a little tin can and shit, pack it just like she told me. And I go in there and I sit down. Grandma said, nah, the spell that they doing, that Coleman doing, say it is not draining the girl. Y'all listen to me, man. If y'all don't fucking, oh my God. It don't drain the girl, let alone it don't drain Coleman. But she said it's a swap energy. And I'm like, what you mean a swap energy? Y'all pay attention. I'm teaching you. I can't say this enough, man. Y'all please don't try these type of spells. Please don't. She said, so anytime Coleman fuck these young girls, he jack off in them or bust that nut or whatever the fuck. She was saying some weird shit. I'm just paraphrasing. He skeet up in them, keep that shit up in them. And say during the time they go home and they go to sleep, after he done bust the nut up in them, they hold his essence and his energy, and they hold the old shit in him, the old man in him. And say, then when they come back and they fuck again, he'll take it back. I say what? He say, so her uterus ages while the body stays the same. And then he fuck her again, and then he takes the energy out of her uterus and it restores him. I say, Grandma, this is some old sci-fi shit. And she told me, I'm telling you how it worked. I know this shit. We used to do it back in the day. The old man used to do it back in the day in Georgia, in Moultrie, Georgia. Say, we've been talked about this. I say, whoa. She say, that's why I say that girl had that stank on her. Because his old man essence is sitting in that girl. I say, well, Grandma, they still don't explain this, the way that she stay young. I mean, because she don't look a day over 19, 20. She just getting heavier, thicker. He say, because it's a swap. Because as he busts a nut in her and she hold him, he takes her energy and hold it for her. So now she don't get the age, let alone he don't get the age. And she gets smarter, mature in the mind, that type of energy. Like she get wiser. I think that was a trade-off or whatever. And I'm paraphrasing people. I mean, I'm trying to think. It was a trade-off of where she would get some kind of education or some kind of wisdom or acknowledgement, I don't know, but he would stay young, so it never affected the body. So I said, God damn. I said, Grandma, should we stop it? She's like, nope, stay away from that shit. Just don't you fuck him, because you will take his disease and you'll take his oldness and he'll be ciphering you. I say, bet. Hey, Grandma, you ain't got to worry about me fucking nothing. I say, after all the shit you done showed me and taught me, baby, I say, a bill be hard pressed other than my baby mama to get this meat. Me and Grandma started laughing, and Grandma like, that nasty fucker. So now, here it is. I'm going to pick up Dad again. This where the shit finna get a little out of hand, people. So I'm gonna ask that you guys forgive me in advance, because it is what it is. It was a different time, so deal with what you gotta deal with. So I go pick up Dad again. I'm stopping at 7-Eleven, finna get me something. You know, it's just convenience, though. That's what 7-Eleven is, convenience. Man, I go in there, so I see the chick. I see Neville. I say, how you doing, Neville? It wasn't what up no more. I say, how you doing? Because now I'm feeling kind of sorry for her. She said, why the fuck do you keep shit? Now she just angry. Why the fuck you call me Neville? She said, you been calling me that shit for years. I say, that's your name? She say, no, bitch, my name is Haven. I say, what the fuck you mean, Haven? She said, yeah, everybody's sitting up here calling me motherfucking Neville, saying my name backwards. I'm sick of that shit. Y'all gonna know who the fuck I am. So I say, oh shit. I say, well, I'm sorry, Haven, hello, whatever the fuck you wanna call yourself. I say, my bad. I say, well, listen here, bitch, we ain't even got to speak to each other. I say, cause I ain't the one to sit up here and get talked to like I'm some dog. I don't know you, ain't fucking you. We ain't got no connection. I say, so I'm finna just leave you alone. Best bet scenario, bitch, you don't say nothing to me. So I done sold her all out, cause she like blew up on me in front of the whole, like, gas pump people, everybody. So she like, so say my fucking name. I say, no, I ain't gonna say your name. I say, fuck your name. So as I get ready to just say, cause she followed me back in the store with the bitching. So I just say, some say, just say the bitch name. Just call her Haven. I say, all right. As soon as, and people, goddamn, as soon as I got ready to say the word heaven or haven, never backwards. And we in the South is Nevea, but never. As soon as I fixed my mouth to say it, Coleman come bust into the 7-Eleven, and he pointed his finger directly at me and said, don't you fucking say it. And I'm like, huh? I say, whoa. I say what? He said, don't you fucking say it. So then he grabbed her by the arm and like yanked her out the store. So everybody like, oh man, what's going on with that shit? I say, that's a couple fight, man. That man, that's a daddy. I say, probably. You know, I ain't put nobody in nobody's business. So, look, why you starting trouble? And say, how you know I'm up here? Say, bitch, I always know where you at. get your ass in the car. So he had drove his Lincoln that day. Get your ass in the car. So she got in the car. She shot a bird at me and all that shit and licked her tongue. I'm like, the fuck? So I got Dad in the car and I'm like, Dad, what's wrong with that girl? Is she crazy? He like, no, you just got involved in a couples match. I say, okay, then I appreciate that. I'm gonna shut the fuck up, man. And then Dad was like, okay, yeah, don't get involved. Don't say nothing to that girl no more. I say, why? I say, why is that man calling her name backwards? Why Coleman saying her name backwards? He said, Coleman just like to say her name backwards. Say, Coleman call all his girls' name backwards. I say, what? He say, he was messing with a Tisha. He called her Ashita or some shit like that. I don't know. I ain't trying to be wise in this story. I'm just telling you how it went. Because it all goes to the plot. So I said, okay. So I go to Grandma. I say, Grandma, you know that girl name ain't Never. It's like Haven or Heaven. I say, it's like Nevaeh spelled backwards. And Grandma was like, uh-huh. I found that bitch secret. I said, what you mean? She said, if you ever do a spell, right, and you was to say the name of the angel backwards, say, don't you know the power in that name? I say, no. He said, you got control over that angel because now the angel is trying to figure out what to do because that's how you weaken the spirit. I say what? She say, every day in your life, do not let a bitch call you your name backwards or say your name wrong too many times. I say, yes, ma'am. So I took this shit to heart. So I went there and picked up Mr. Coleman again, and now I'm back there under the tree, like smoking and drinking with him, man. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Bitch, I need to know how to do this magical spell. This one Grandma ain't teaching me. You know, if I can control a bit like this, and I'm in my old savage pimp stage at this time, gangbanging, bitch, I control the whole world. So I say, Mr. Coleman, man, I say, why you call these bitches name backwards, bro? I say, hook a young nigga up. He say, that's old southern thing, man, we get from Moultrie, Georgia. You know, he say, you say a motherfucker name backwards sometime and you write a name backwards on a cup of paper 7 times. You take a rusted nail, you stick it in there, and then you wrap it up, and then you take a maple leaf. I say, maple leaf? He say, it's not a maple leaf of one of them leaves with the 3 prongs on it that turn orange and red and shit. We got them down here. You'll find them on the ground dried up. He say, and you crumble that shit up in there with that leaf, and you wrap it up, and say you just stand it up on your dresser with a dime on top of it. Say that you can control any of them bitches, but you gotta keep saying their name backwards. You never say their name in like forward. I say, holy shit. He say, that's what I'm talking about. He say, it's the real deal, baby. So he drunk, he done told me the secret. Nah, that's Never and Mr. Coleman shit. So now I done learned the secret. Now y'all know the bitch too. So I say, here my ass go, I'm finna go try to figure this shit out. I say, yeah, baby, let me go try to figure this shit out. So, you know, I was dating one chick by the name of, what was that girl name? I think it was Pamela. If it's not Pamela, it was Pam. Yeah, I was dating this one chick named Pamela, and we used to call her Pam. So I did everything he said. Got the paper, got the rusted nail, wrote her name 7 times backwards, and I think it was Map, because I just used to call her Pam, so I wrote Map. Took one of the little grind up maple leaves looking shit she found on the ground, crumbled that bitch up, stuck the nail in it, wrapped it up, take a dime, put it on his head, sat that bitch on there. It stood up, because I had packed that bitch just right with the leaves so it didn't fall over. Man, so I went there, I say, hey, Map. The lady answered to it. She's like, what, tight? I said, what you doing tonight? She like, I forgot. I said, you wanna come see me? She like, fuck yeah. So, boom, knock down Map. I say, damn, it worked. So I say, okay, just some bullshit. Hit it up, called the Map again. Map. Never called the Pam, she never corrected me. Map. I'm sitting up there knocking the chick down on a regular. I'm like, this shit worked. So I went to another girl, Tisha. Now, Tisha was dark-skinned, bald-headed and shit. I don't know why that girl couldn't grow no hair. But she had a little ponytail in the back of her head. But bitch, we were savages back in the day. I would do it. So I just went ahead and just like, okay, do that. So a sheep. Hold it down, da-da-da. It's working again. Stood it up. So now I got 3-4 nails on my thing because I did this to several chicks back in the day. So I'm like, oh my God, this shit worked. This old folk magic type shit. So grandma came to the house. She like, baby, I'm gonna need you to take me to work. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, the Buick fucked up. I said, all right, grandma, no problem. I say, I'll be there. I say, you sure you don't want to borrow the car? She like, no, just drop me off. I said, all right, grandma. So I go get grandma, pick her up from work, come to the house. I say, grandma, I gotta change clothes, you know, I'm going into my night shift. She like, I'll wait, take a shower, get clean. So grandma go in my room and she see the nails standing up there. She say, what you doing? So as soon as I come out the shower, naked, dick swinging, slipping on the floor, grandma papping me. Pap, pap, pap. Take that shit down. Throw that shit away. You been listening to that stupid ass motherfucking Coleman. Take that shit down. You don't get the right to do that to women. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I go get that shit, put it in a motherfucking waste paper basket next to the dresser in the bed, and I instantly run outside and throw that shit in the trash. And she's like, burn that trash, put some alcohol on it. Douse the shit with alcohol. I'm looking real bad, y'all. Grandma rode home in silence. That was the first time my grandma was disappointed in me. And I say, I'm sorry, grandma. I say, I saw it working for Coleman. I just thought, she like, don't be sorry, just be motherfucking careful. So now you done got rid of that spell. What you gonna call that girl? I say, I can't say her name backwards no more, so I gotta call her Pam. She said, go, you apologize to Pam. I said, yes, ma'am. So I went to Pam, and I said, hey, Pam, you know, I'm sorry. You know, I didn't tell her what the fuck I did. Let's not be stupid. I said, hey, I'm sorry, you know, for just screwing you like that, using you like that. I know you didn't want to do it sometimes, and you just felt compelled. She's like, nah, you cute, Tyke, you got it going on. I said, all right. I said, but I'm sorry. She said, I thought you, she said, why you calling me Pam? I said, ma'am. She said, why you calling? I said, that's your name. She said, my name Map. I said, I like when you call me Map. That's when I realized the spell wasn't done. So I said, okay, cool. So I went, dug the shit out the trash, poured more alcohol on it, and I made sure I burnt up everything. And I took the rusted nails and I just threw them in a field somewhere. So the spell was broken on all the girls. She, Pam, a couple more. So I felt really shitty. So now I go back to Mr. Coleman and I say, hey, Mr. Coleman, you know I did that spell, but you told me when you were drunk. He said, boy, you did that spell? He said, but you ain't an old man. You can't do that spell until you like 60 and you want to sustain your life and you don't want old age and the devil to get you. I say, but it worked. I say, I was knocking these girls down like it left it ain't right, man. And he like, well, it's good for getting pussy, but the real purpose of that spell is to keep death off your ass, to keep aging. It's because, you know, we age at nighttime. We don't age in the day. I said, oh. And I'm going to leave it right there because he revealed some more secrets to me about that spell, to which I know some of y'all going to try it. So I ain't going to say it. So to wrap this thing up, Neville and Mr. Coleman end up like moving in together. So he started getting Alzheimer's. And he stopped like fucking the girl or stopped, and he started calling the girl Heaven. As soon as he started saying her name the proper way, he just kept getting sick. He just kept getting older. He kept getting sick. He kept going down. So now within the matter of like 3 years of them living together, that man looked every bit of 78, 79 years old. He started looking his age. And she was like, he can't get it up no more. He can't fuck. I don't know what's wrong with him. I be trying to get it out of him. And he say, he calling me by my real name too. I don't know what's going on, because we never broke the spell on her. Well, he never broke the spell on her. And grandma came back and said, baby, let him die. Let him die. She was crying. She said, before he go, let him get his affairs in order so you can have some money or something. Grandma, you know, because she did have a baby, so the baby like 6, 7, 8 years now. So grandma did go and counsel her ass, and grandma said she was stank. Tell me why that girl lady, to this day, her name is Neville, and she say, I'm Neville, I'm Neville, I'm Neville. You could sit up there and you can call her and you can say, hey, Heaven. She'll say, my name Neville. So that's her hood name, Neville, Neville. Anybody that screwed that girl, they call her Neville. And if you walk up to her right now, and you say, "Hey, Neville," you can easily screw that girl, man or woman. She don't care. It's something because that spell never got broke off her ass. I'm gonna leave it right there and let y'all be. Y'all could choose to believe this shit real, fake, phony, fictitious, but I'm telling y'all, it's power in the name. Don't let a bitch say your name backwards too many times. Definitely don't say it backwards while you fucking them. Cause baby, them motherfuckers learn how to control me. If I know how to do it on a limited level, and that's why I don't ever say nobody's name backwards. I don't even say Beelzebub and all that shit backwards. I don't want to control no devil, no angel, no none of that shit. So I just gave you some serious spell work how to run this shit, right? All right, everybody, I'm getting off this bitch. We'll talk about this next. I'm tight, telling you guys, backwards is forward, forward is backwards. But moving forward, don't let a bitch treat you backwards. Y'all take care. Stay safe.